industry is affected.
Okay, yes, you're right. The weather is to global warming,
Yes.
so everywhere. So we'll start. So lesson one, lesson two, we had a discussion about internal control, audit assurance, and we discuss, the positive assurance, negative assurance. Auditor never give the absolute assurance. So today lesson will go through understand how gather the evidence completing assurance engagement. Evidence in audit is very important when you're collecting evidence, and because anything you're making or you're drawing or writing a report, it should be based on evidence. Material evidence, materiality is very crucial. So material mean anything which is quite significant can influence on the user to make the decision based on. So those, so always good to we can reflect what we know already about internal control and assurance. We know control is mean corrective action. What we say assurance mean giving that the nothing is scam there, absolute attention that there will be uh, any going concern will be any issues because the business will ready carry on as a normal life for the 12 months at least, So assurance process techniques, assurance planning, assurance evidence, assurance procedures, sampling. Yes, sampling is a small proportion of the total population, and in audit we do the sampling and give assurance. Computer assisted assurance technique, we look around the assurance process, not for profit organization, charities, NGOs, and all. We club different stages of planning, which we can collecting appropriate evidence, completion of the assurance engagement, review and reporting, qualification of reports, qualified or not, impact of legal requirement. That all will be. We have a good few assessment criteria, discuss the reasons for preparing documentations. Of course, evidence. Audit means checking the accuracy in the book of accounts, and then based on this, we can give the assurance. Describe the different stages of rather the evidence, which we can through observation, through sampling, and all which we can test of control. Uh, then we can review different methods of obtaining evidence assurance and discuss, the issues arising, gathering evidence and needs and referral to senior colleague. Then we have a merit criteria, confirmation of representation from the management, form of assurance, and compare and contrast the reliability of different types of assurance. Okay, so we had a discussion in the previous lesson as well. Audit, a type of assurance engagement that carried out by editors to give independent opinion. So key thing when who's giving the assurance, is it an independent opinion like in case of Enron, the company, the uh, Anderson gave the assurance, but that wasn't assurance, the factual independent opinion. So we need to be making sure the financial statement should be prepared true and fair. So Company Act 2006, we prepare the company account, our company is registered and company's affairs. We can look around the small turnover is about 10.2 assets and implies less than 50 and dominant companies, listed entities, banks, insurance, whether the standard alone part of or of group, so we can look around the give the group, maybe they have intra-company trading that need to implement A to give the assurance. That's the idea, the profit they are saying is actually true profit. So it is required to produce a report. Shareholders, it's express, opinion whether the financial statement according with the acceptable accounting framework and properly prepared, true and fair. That's the key, true and fair. The insurance engagement in which the practitioner, which is mean accountant, express conclusion designed to enhance the degree of the confidence of intended users and other responsible parties. Outcome and evaluation of the measurement is subject matters against the criteria. So we can look around the practitioner, it can be a detail, the intended users can be shareholders, responsible parties, it managers, subject matters, it can be about financial statement criteria, accounting standard, and legal requirement. Reasonable assurance is a high level of assurance, but not absolute assurance, limited assurance. is the lower level of assurance than reasonable assurance, which stated negatively. And auditors can never give absolute assurance because the inherently limitations can be in audit, and inherently limitation audit are subject to the judgment by the directors, which we can look around. Director maybe give the information. It is possible that the fraud can be concealed and the sampling evidence is persuasive, not conclusive. That can be happen in the real world. Okay, the purpose of assurance accountability cover the range of issues discussed under the corporate governance. So we can look around the governance. Yes, in term of balance scorecard, we can look around learning perspective and different perspective of organization. We can give the assurance. So the profit warning, the going concern, directed accountability, investment protection, internal control and risk. What the procedure they have. Assurance provisions, communication needed, director required to produce the financial statement true and key evidence need to be communicate the director pay going concern, management of risk. We have a risk committee register. That's quite crucial. So assurance engagement, professional accountant evaluate and measure the subject matter on the basis of the suitable criteria, express opinion, give user level of assurance about the subject matter. That's quite crucial. Nature of assurance, it can be statutory, which is by law, and non, which is not by law, but still, extra like ethics, moral principle. Purpose of the audit to give the opinion on the financial statements, solely the report to the shareholders. The secretary audit is required by the Company Act 2006, non-secretary audit, which is we do internal audit. Auditors can give the opinion, others or other statements. Which we can look around advantage of the non-secretary audit, for example, setting the accounts in the partnership. Partner accounts may be more acceptable to the tax authorities for the sale of business and the negotiation loan. Okay, review why the reviews done. Reviews audit give high level of assurance. Stated anything come to attention. The details focuses on materiality. The details may not give the true and fair. Less detail than audit. Less assurance obtained. Internal audit, why it's done. Implied by the organization, part of internal control, responsibility determined by the management, help management to carry out their duties. Assurance reports can look around the trust and the fairness. Editors give the opinion and the trust and need to be truth and fairness, factual, free from bias, reflecting commercial substance of transaction, not opinion of absolute correctness, and obtain the evidence test basis only, and cannot be absolute assurance due to inherent limitation. It can be risk in audit. Any question, please, if you have? Welcome to ask. Okay. Assurance and the reports limitation of audit, which we can look on auditing is not objective, is the judgment have to be made, and not all the items in the financial statement are tested. The limitation in the accounting control system, audit reports is the inherently limitation, which we can look on audit report is the issues long time after the balance sheet. We can look on audit evidence, something indicates whether there is a profit or not, or the loss we have. Materiality expression of the relative significant are imposed context of the financial statement as a whole. We can look on the material of omission, misstatement, influence in the decision of the user, consider on whole financial statement on individual item, and not the capable of mathematical definition. Both qualitative and quantitative aspect need to be considered. So level of assurance is determined by the nature of the procedure. Audit, reasonable assurance; review, negative assurance; agreed upon procedures, no assurance; and compliance reports. So we can look around audit acceptance, planning, risk, materiality, nature of the timing, inherently control, substantive and compliance testing, statement of the financial position. Like compliance can be like thinking about when we recruiting new employees, do we have a reference there? Do we have NI record? we tested, the right to work. That can be, those sort of, the compliance. Audit completions include the going concern, analytical procedure, reporting, and audit acceptance, annual cycle repeats. We can look around the reasonable uh, responding to the risk and evidence which we can respond to risk assessment. Risk is mean probability of happening something which we need to be make sure we quantify and give the opinion accordingly. Further, audit procedures can be test of control and substantial procedure, analytical procedures. A test of control can be sufficient appropriate audit evidence affected by the reliability of the evidence. Consider, like, is it Wikipedia's evidence you collected and you're saying, or who's saying it? What is the evidence of from the third party if you collect it? So written down the original document responding to the risk and audit as evidence. Test of control has already dealt, which we mentioned. Of course, I collect the slide, the written chapter 2, which we can look around as well. But detail need to be evidence. That's two aspects of the system design of the system capable to prevent or detect the misstatement, operation of the system they have existed and operating properly in period. Role of control testing when the detailed assessment of the risk in the material misstatement included expectation and control are operating effectively, and a detail should perform the test of control, obtain sufficient audit evidence to control operating effectively. That's which is quite crucial. We can look around the responding to the risk and audit evidence, substantial procedure, the detail seeking substantial assertion made by the director known as a financial statement, assertion regarding the transaction events, account balances and disclosure. Those are assertion about the assess classes of transaction and the event and the related disclosure. So we can say the asset being really treated as an asset, liability being treated as a liability. We put them under the correct category. Absolute accounts, balances related, disclosures which we can at the period, existent right, obligation, complete net accuracy, valuation, allocation, classification, and presentation that can be looked around. Yes, so accuracy is there. So we can use the word analytical procedure, inquiry, external confirmation, inspection, observation, recalculation, and the performance of transaction, which we can look around. You can say, come on, show me.
Okay,
Uh,
sir.
yes,
Hello, sir. So actually, this substantive procedure or substantive audit that will be prepared by the auditor, right? Not in the
ex-
director's level.
no, no. Yes, editors can look around the procedures are in place or not. Yeah. So,
Yeah, but
like,
made assertion, substantive assertion made by the directors. What does the mean by made by the directors?
okay, made by because the director set up, like cut-off days. Yes, which date to which date, the reports, like we have a asset registered, we have a sale ledger control.
Okay. That means their preparation,
Yeah.
the audit,
And
the
in
part.
audit,
Okay,
we
I
check,
understand.
those procedures and
Mhm.
assertions are, yeah.
I understand now. Okay.
Like when we're doing inventory, so we have
Mhm.
no new inventory is coming in those days, yeah. So we can do
Yeah.
inventory assessment.
Mhm.
Okay, well done. So we can also look around the responding risk, audit evidence, analytical procedures, relationship between the item of the data and the relevant information. Analytical procedure include the comparison of this year information with similar information of the prior period, anticipated result, budget, industry information. So we can look around what is happening in industry, what is happening, what happened last year and what happened this year. So we have a comparative figures. Yes, like, you can look around KPI, key performance indicators, elements of the financial information expected to confirm to partners, link between the financial and non-financial. So financial, of course, numerical related to finance, but the non-financial look around the reputation of the company, the view of the company. Of course, goodwill can be measured in terms of those are reliably measured and revaluation of the risk being assessed. So analytical procedure must be used to the risk assessment. Substantive procedure, which we can analytical procedure may be used in audit, like, or the suitable, if the data is reliable, relevant, and available to the public, which, because that can be sometime is the issue. We will move around. Okay, so that can be used. Uh, okay, so we went through this. Any question if you have, please, always you can ask, in between. So we can look around overall views. Analytical procedure must be used to ensure financial statement reasonable final reviews, and the results should be consistent with other audit evidence gain and significant fluctuation. So when these, identify the details and make inquiries of directors, consider the management response in the light of knowledge evidence, and carried out additional audit procedures where necessary. So we can think about accounting ratio. You should be familiar with the. We can look around significant relationship in the financial statement, payable, purchase, inventories, costs, current, non-current asset, tangible, intangible. In the light of the standards, like, we have a IFRS 16, which is mean the leases, because in the past the asset is not belong to the company. They used to say show as an asset, and then of course they are either they not used to show on the financial statement how long they have a commitment for the payment. So now we need to treat asset, we need to create the liabilities, and then we need to get,
Yes, sir.
pay
Sorry, sir. Actually, IFRS 16 is the property and plant and equipment, but I think ISA 17 is the lease, right?
No, no. IAS 16 is property, plant, equipment. IFRS 16.
IFRS
It,
16 in the
no,
lease.
IFRS, International
I
Financial Reporting Standard 16, not IAS. Okay.
16 is
So
the lease, right? Yeah.
IAS 16 is about property, plant, equipment. Yes.
Yes, this is the property,
Okay.
plant and
So like
equipment.
yeah, IFRS, sorry, maybe I'm mentioning the number. IFRS 15. So no, we're looking IFRS 16. Yeah, that's about leases. Yeah, it's a new standard. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a new one. Before it was in 17 ISI.
Oh yeah. So yes, you're right. That was the lease, either operating lease or finance lease. Yes. No, we are
Yeah.
treating the lease must be included in the financial statement. Yeah, with the
Yes.
liability and the
But
commitment of the
sir,
property.
did you know about now the IFRS not listing the operating lease? They're saying that all should be in finance lease. There is no operating lease now, right?
Yes, yes. So because the reason
Okay.
because you have to show the commitment how long you have more than a year. Yes.
Yes.
So
Understood.
you have to, because you're showing asset, you're showing liability. So what net effect do you have? Then you carry on making the payment against the cash. Your
Yes.
liability carry on. So you do the double entry adjustments accordingly. And that's true and fair information, because it's sometimes even still is the issue, like, we can look around uh, contingent liability, contingent asset. Yes, may sometime
Yes.
use this as those can be issues. Okay, sampling is the key aspect of obtaining sufficient appropriate audit evidence, and sampling must be chosen with the enable details to get evidence. Sampling, applying the audit procedures to less than 100% of the item in the population here. Greater than, we can look around the tolerable misstatement, the maximum amount misstatement in the population. A detail will accept, so we can draw the criteria. Yeah. So maybe we can say 10%, 20. Yeah. Have that transaction, we can
Yeah.
test it at
Yes, sir.
2%.
For the substantive procedures, sir, we need the sampling with the material items, right? Not in the all items.
Yes,
Even not in the
but yeah,
substantive procedure. Even we are normal procedure, we can make the sample in the materiality. But for the substantive procedure, we need to go to the deep, and we need to increasing our sample structure, so we can around more benefit to the what is actually happening in this system, right? Like that,
yes,
sir?
maybe you can change the sampling techniques even.
Yeah. Yes. Thanks, sir.
So you're right. Well done. Great. So two types of sampling. Yes, we know statistical sampling. Yes, involve the random selection of the sample item are known, or you can look around the convenience sampler, professional judgment. Yeah, quota sampling of transactions. So that can be consider the risk, expectation of the misstatement, and the acceptable level of the misstatement. The greater the reliance of the result of the test control using the audit sampling, lower the sampling risk, and the auditors will willing to accept, and consequently, the larger the sample size, selection, the random item are equally chance of selection, systematic, yes, consistent with the interval, side which you chosen at will, and but guarding against the bias in the selection, so it need to be unbiased. A detail must be analyzed the misstatements in the sample and draw the reference to the population as a whole, and qualitative aspect of the misstatement should be considered the nature of misstatement balances. Misstatement may be extra lighted against the whole balance of the population. That can be happen.
Okay, sir. Here is the haphazard bias. So when I choose the sampling, I cannot hear the management or employees um, uh, exception that
Yeah.
okay, you can choose this sample and you can audit that or no. I will be doing myself, which is this. I regretting I need to check.
Oh,
That is the against the bias, right?
so you're working in audit, yeah?
I'm not before I'm doing auditing too much. Yeah,
Oh, yeah. So, yes, you're
because
right.
I'm CA
You're right.
sir, so I do the auditing. Yeah.
Yes, in term of your point of view, you're absolutely right. But as a company, what they done it, you can give the views as well. Huh? Yeah,
Yeah. Yes.
because
Sometimes
audit.
they make it. Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
yes.
Tell me, sir.
No, no, yes, that's fine. You want to say something?
Yeah, but because so sometimes the management they're saying that okay, selected some of these items, you just make a audit and give the opinion. That is the actually your bias from them because this is the client. You have to the happy to the client at the end. But
Hmm.
when the auditor is going that situation, then they addressing okay, I will do check this portion, but I have to go to the deep down of the auditor. There is any mistake or no. If you go to the deep down, you also find something in there because the framework. Some framework is this is COSO framework or substantive. This segment of questionnaires for the
Yes,
auditors. You need to understand this. If you are making the questionnaire, you can find the negligency of there and you can make the judgment of your own. Then you can do for the substance. When you go for the substance procedure, that
hmm.
time you have to details check, and then that time the management are not biased to you to do anything else. That is the main thing actually happen in the
You're
audit.
you're absolutely
Yes,
right. Some cultures may be cup of tea and all other influencer gift, and
yes,
so of course the details ethics side is quite. So like
yes,
in case of Anderson and various others, how they not found anything short. Yes, shortfall when the figures were so big. Yeah, the
yes,
material
yes. This
misstatement not
happens.
highlight, and they not identify the practices which they're using the future income as the income of today.
Yeah,
Yes, and showing as a sale. So it's a common both in businesses the detail you the computers and the IT bring the advantage to audit. Of course, we can use a lot of computer assisted audit techniques. The audit test are performed using the computer. Of course, we can say, come on, match this, yeah, that transaction, rounding up the figures and all number of tests we can do. Audit software is perform the check that detail should otherwise have had to do by hand, and such interrogating the data and comparing the version of the program. It can provide the information. Of course, it's quite crucial to understand the culture of that, the environment of the organization, which industry and nature of the business and the clients, and yeah, buying from at the tariff stage. It's not, it's a vast area of your own as a detailed information first, then you can say is right and wrong. So of course in the law as well as culture. Okay, so this is the way, checking whether the system are operating properly, feed the system some data, see how it's proceed. Or you can ask, can you process the one watches for me and show me the process? Yes, depending, and we can test it via computer. Or is it the software do update? Sometime hinge it's not integrated, the things can create a problem as, especially when we're using automated system. And the details might use integrated test facilities where the permanent testing environment is placed within the database. And audit evidence, ISA 500 sufficient appropriate audit evidence. ISA 500 audit evidence needs sufficient appropriate audit evidence which draw the reasonable conclusion, objective to express the opinion true and fair. Audit evidence include the obtain, arrive, and conclusion of the reports. Evidence can be form of test of control, substantial procedures, classes of transaction, account balances, and disclosures and substantial. So we can look around the financial statements, the financial statement representation made by directors by approving the financial statement. Director are making representation about the information therein and embodied the financial statement. We can look around the transaction events, like when is the occurrence, is it complete, is it accuracy, cutoff, yes, mayor, and the classification, those are the right or not. The account balances for the period existent, right and obligation, completeness, valuation, allocation, presentation, disclosure, occurrence, the right and obligation, completeness, classification, understandability, accuracy, and valuation. That's all we can do. Any question? Okay, we can look
Sorry,
around.
okay.
Thank you. Audit evidence, other issues, audit procedures, inspection of the asset, inspection of the documentation, observation, inquiries, and analytical procedures, computer techniques, such as using the computer audit tools, overcome the lack of visibility of the audit trail. And then we can see and match, all the figures and improving and effectiveness and efficiencies and audit procedures. We can look around the testing, the details of the transaction, the balances, use of analytical procedures. So these, is quite crucial, which we can look around. And internal audit include audit software, test the data, specific controls. Uh, Auditing the small entities, if more difficult to obtain the sufficient audit evidence for the completeness, internal control may be not documented strongly. There can be substantial testing required, include, detailed testing as substantial analytical procedures can be applied. So auditing sampling usually seek evidence less than 100% item is tested, or IS 530 audit, sampling another mean of testing which as per standard and determine the appropriate, mean selecting the item and testing, get the sufficient appropriate evidence. Statistical, which we can use the sampling, non-sampling, which we just mentioned earlier, high value and key items. So high value item, the control and the value and what basis revalues and impairments and things, the revaluation of the asset impairment. Normally we use the word the goods. In the sample size and consider the sampling risk, the test of the control, the consider the risk under relying our yes, substantial procedures, consider the risk of incorrect, rejections or incorrect acceptance. So key stages of sampling procedures, objective, population, sample size, method of sampling, and analyze the result and projected errors. So our audit documents, which we need to be working document, important to the document audit work, perform, enable partners to review the adequate, the work is performed, provide, details of the work done for the future, reference, assisted planning and control, encourage mathematical approach, which we can look around and leads to the better quality auditing and IS 230 audit documentation, which we can look around the standard. Sufficient appropriate audit evidence must be obtained. Test of control, substantial procedure, uh, types of, evidence, reliability of the audit evidence influenced by the source and the nature, and the audit testing designed to fulfill audit assertion, and less than 100% evidence is usually obtained, and all audit work must be documented. Yes, that's, is quite crucial. So audit opinion, evidence, sufficient, appropriate, relevant, reliable, and its nature, extent, and timing, that's very important. We can look around the sampling, yes, interim, final, and we can use, this is a bit, mind map which we can, the keywords we can explore. Okay, so that's all. And then of course, if you want further, so please, the links here which you can click and you can read further. Of course, if you want to explore more these, the key term, maybe you can set up account on Open Tuition as you want, which is set by, which is publicly available. So if you click those, maybe you can look around audit assurance A, yeah, advanced assurance and audit assurance. Please, these are the good subject to look around. A, audit assurance, so you can download, and then each chapter, like if you want to, maybe you can look around this. Yes, this is available uh, Moodle as well, which we can further upload if need to. So we can look around a booklet. That's also quite useful by chapter if you want to be read more in detail. Yes, that can be downloaded free if you want to, and that can be enhanced, for that understanding. Yes, according to this book, each lecture is available if you think, come on, I want to listen. Yes, audit evidence, what is meant by and all, yeah, and different examples. So that can be, it's good to play. And if you want to listen the lectures on these each, according to the booklet, so what you can do, you can go on Open Tuition, and then of course you can look around the lectures under audit and assurance according to the book. If you look and view the notes, and these are the lectures. These lectures you can watch it as the book is being designed. So if you want chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, what is assurance, corporate governance, and all, audit evidence, yes, so it's a 44 minutes long. Yes, audit sampling, so what it means by types of sampling that can be used. Okay, that's all from my end. Any question?
No problem. I already know about the searching of the auditing and system, everything in the internet. So it's okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your
Okay,
information.
brilliant. Thanks for attending, and sorry for late. Hope we'll speak you next lesson. Have a nice weekend.
Yeah. Have a nice weekend too, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.